Hello folks, thanks for joining us here this week on This Week in Agribusiness. One of the major topics that's been discussed in agriculture over the past several years is sustainability. We continue to see major manufacturers looking to make moves to become more sustainable, and in fact, our own Willie Vogt had the chance to travel to Florida to see what the next step in fertilizer might look like.
The startup world in agriculture is crowded with a diverse range of new ideas still working their way to market, but some are ready. We recently returned from a trip to Florida to see a significant step for ANUVIA Plant Nutrients, the opening of its first plant capable of producing its new kind of fertilizer at levels high enough to meet commercial demand. We caught up with company management to learn more about the product and the new facility. We start off with Amy Yoder. She's the CEO of ANUVIA Plant Nutrients and has been working in agriculture for some time. Yet she took on the challenge of this startup, and she explains what drove that decision.
It is a big deal for a startup, especially when you think about 5 years ago when we started. It was literally a technology in a lab. So what we've grown to sometimes even makes me kind of sit back and think about where we actually started. So why I was interested in a startup is I spent over 20 years in the ag industry, primarily with crop protection, all over the country and the world. And when I was looking for the next challenge, I really wanted to do something that made an impact for a long term and kind of leave a legacy. And I had looked at a number of technologies that had to deal with sustainability, but I didn't really see anything at that time that I thought could actually benefit farmers all over. And that for me was very important.
The ANUVIA facility is essentially bolted on to an existing fertilizer plant that was no longer in service. This allowed the startup the ability to put existing technology to work along with its new process. But what makes ANUVIA's product different? Hugh McGillivray, Chief Commercial Officer for ANUVIA, explains.
We're taking different organic substrates, things like food waste, manures, different source organics, breaking it down, and then we're binding it with inorganic nutrients, and we create a multi-nutrient bio-based product that really does three things for growers. It creates nutrient efficiency, so it translates into more bushels per unit of nutrition. You could look at it as more yield. And then it has a better environmental footprint, so we reduce the amount of nutrients that are lost into the environment through leaching and volatilization. And then we have a smaller carbon footprint because of the way we manufacture it and because of the use efficiency of that material.
McGillivray emphasizes that while it is a bio-based product, ANUVIA fertilizer is not a biological product, nor is it organic. Yet it can use as a base a wide range of products that are either food waste or agricultural waste and end up with a consistent fertilizer that is 16% organic matter. I wanted to know more about the startup's approach and why ANUVIA targeted corn, cotton, and canola rather than the higher value crops that are so often the target of startup companies. Amy Yoder tells us more.
If you really want to make an impact from a sustainability aspect, when I'm looking at 90 million acres of corn, that makes an impact, right? And that to me is what we were about, or what we've been driven and focused on ever since the very beginning.
A bio-based product that can help farmers boost sustainability without changing their current practices seems like an interesting idea to consider as agriculture looks at more ways to become sustainable. Reporting for This Week in Agribusiness, I'm Willie Vogt.
Thanks, Willie, for that story. It's incredible the amount of innovation that continues to come out of agriculture almost every single day.